It is my favorite day of the week, not just because it is Friday, March 13th, 2026 to be precise, but because I get to do this show. Welcome in. My name is Chip Brewster, as the little graphic said, national digital host with Nexstar Media, and this is Across America Good News Edition, where I go, I wish it was physically, but digitally across America and look at our 100+ TV stations, looking at their feature stories, their good news from the week that was, and pick as many as I can, frankly, to fit into a 30-minute show. It's honestly, it's hard every week because there are so many good ones. What are some of the ones that we get to look at this week, though? I'll tell you what, it's pretty animal heavy. About the first one that I'm teasing anyways, a stampede on purpose. And then a dinosaur species discovered, an eagle rescued and rehabilitated, a sea lion rescued and rehabilitated. We take a look at air taxis. We've heard about those for a long time. Are they finally coming? And then the last one, you can still kind of say animal related, fish fry. This is the season we look at one church and one community, how they do it up big. But before we get to those stories, hold on to your seats. This first story, the video right off the bat, it was like, no way is this happening. No way was this captured on video. No way did these people share it out. In fact, they did. And Nexstar did a story. Let me show it to you right now.
Wow! She's out! Oh my God!
I'm still in shock that is how we delivered her.
A once-in-a-lifetime moment that neither Jacqueline nor her husband Fred will ever forget.
I'm driving up on the highway. Like, is she about to push this on baby out? Oh my God.
The morning of May 28th, 2025 started with a drive on Powhite Parkway on the way to the hospital where they anticipated the birth of their third child, Naomi, now 9 months old. However, the next series of events were anything but normal.
About halfway there, I start feeling this urge to push.
That's right. Jacqueline was going into labor with no way to stop.
I actually didn't pull over, because I didn't know if I had to pull over or not. So I kept driving. 2
contractions later, I pushed her out in the car. And it happened extremely fast.
So fast that Jacqueline's water didn't even break. It's what's called a veiled birth, a rare moment when a baby is born completely in an unbroken sac. That's when Fred sprung into action.
He pulled the sack off of her when she came out. And yeah, nothing but the grace of God.
The once-in-a-lifetime moment was caught on Fred's GoPro camera. The British decided to share the moment on social media, garnering tens of thousands of views on YouTube and nearly 1 million views on TikTok.
Some people are like, gosh, that scares me. I hope that doesn't happen to me. But then others are like, wow, I can't believe you're so strong. And
when asked what they learned from their journey,
leave a little sooner. Leave a little sooner.
That's one lesson that you could learn. I'm going to let this repeat really quick because oh my gosh, right? Okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one having that reaction to this story. And then the fact that it was a veiled birth, which I'd never heard of, born with the sac intact, and he's driving and helping to, wow. If you want more information on that story or any of these stories, by the way, check out the local station. In this case, that was our station, WRIC in Richmond, Virginia. They've got a great write-up on that story and, of course, others that they're working on. Let's move on, shall we? So I mentioned that it is the season for fish fries. It's also the season for going bald. And I don't mean genetically here. I'm talking about going bald for a good cause, as we learn in this next story from our station WJW in Cleveland, Ohio.
It is the best haircut you'll ever get. Now, we're not saying it's the most stylish one, mind you. In fact, you'll just wind up bald. But it means a lot to the people who do it to help in the fight against childhood cancer. Jeff Ford has cut off his hair and raised money for St. Baldrick's for 15 years.
I was shaving before, and then one of my own kids had cancer, and then it was very personal at that point.
How are they doing?
Ask.
Just to have my dad be able to do this every year is just really cool, especially after being diagnosed in 2020. To be able to participate and give hope to other kids that have gone through the same thing I have is it's awesome.
Would you take a knee? Okay, you all right?
In fact, Jeff has been so supportive of St. Baldrick's for so long that he was knighted, sort of, for giving back to his community and helping to move forward cancer research. And the money raised does stay local.
So we're very lucky here at Rainbow. We have some excellent physicians, clinically working with our kids, but we also have physicians who are on the research side. And one of our doctors received a $200,000 grant that spread out over 2 years this past year from the St. Baldrick's Foundation. So they're doing important research that will help kids here in Cleveland, but also help kids around the world.
Men and quite a few women are more than willing to go under the clippers.
Hi, Cora and Charlotte. Well, they're not going to see it.
Just about everyone you know probably has someone in their family whose life has been changed by cancer, and helping to make a difference to help researchers move closer to a new treatment or even a cure is worth every strand that falls.
It's such a good cause. You know, it was hard the first year. I thought, oh my God, but you know what? Getting up the next day and taking a shower, like, this is awesome.
A lot less shampoo.
Oh, yeah, no shampoo, yeah. No hair dryer, you know. It was fun.
UH Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital has hosted a St. Baldrick's event for more than 15 years now. And every year, doctors, nurses, patients, and even folks just walking by get clipped or in some cases painted to help move research forward. It's a small thing to just let your hair go, especially if it will help one day stop cancer. In Cleveland, Roosevelt, LEFTWICH, Fox 8 News.
Props to every person who was getting their head shaved while a camera is coming up and interviewing them and asking them questions. And especially that one lady who was like, looking on the bright side, showering so much easier after you do something that it's really quite simple, but can lead to a lot of good. So very cool story out of Cleveland. And that's not local to Cleveland. I know I'm in the Chicago area. I know of St. Baldrick's Foundation that operates here too. So if you're in need of a haircut and want to do a good cause, you can look up something local. I'm sure about it. Next story, this one, CHOWCHILLA, California. They put on an annual event. I had no idea this existed, as is the case with so many stories that I do on this show, why it's my favorite day of the week and why I love doing this show. But this comes to us from our station KSEE in Fresno, California. It's about a stampede, but one that they do on purpose.
Since 1958, the city of Chowchilla has promoted the Western way of life. And kicking off the Chowchilla Western Stampede each year is a parade featuring the main attraction. These guys are right here.
The Chowchilla Western Stampede was started 69 years ago. There was a group of gentlemen that kind of got together. They decided they wanted to have a roping, and what they did was they sourced cattle right here in Chowchilla at the very end of Robertson Boulevard. And rather than trailer them into town, they just ran them down Robertson Boulevard, through town, to the fairgrounds.
A week of team roping at the Chowchilla Fairgrounds kicked off by a parade of cattle and cowboys through Robertson Boulevard. Folks of all ages, from all over, came to watch cattle run through town.
All those little kids, I like to wave at them, you know.
86-year-old Sandy Shelter is watching the parade outside the Chowchilla Senior Center. She's enjoyed the parade as long as she can remember and is happy to share it with her friends today.
It's all basically the same, I think, as I can remember, I think. I'm just happy to do this. It makes you feel good.
The parade is more than tradition and not as simple as you'd think.
It's not a cheap venture to run cattle down a state highway, essentially, you know, which Robertson Boulevard is. We're a nonprofit, so you really don't make much money when you put these events on.
Still, Brooker says the parade helps with fundraising and keeping the Western lifestyle alive.
There's kids everywhere, they're screaming. That's why we do it, right? Is we want to keep the next generation coming up. We want to preserve the Western way of life.
You can find event scheduling and details on our website, but for now, reporting in Chowchilla for YourCentralValley.com, I'm Marco Rosas.
Cool event. And hey, if you happen to be in the area, now you know. Next time, make the trip and see the Stampede for yourself. One more story for you before we take a quick break. This one coming to us from our station in New Orleans, WGNO. And this reporter has been featured on the show multiple times. He's a feature reporter. That's just what happens. But Bill Wood, great storyteller. So if you think when I say a church's Friday fish fry is boring, just watch how this man puts a little story together.
It takes a team.
Looking good, looking good, looking good.
When the goal of your game is to fry enough fish and shrimp to feed a season of about 1,000.
Miss Beth, everything's good.
Hungry fans. At St. Benilde Church in Metairie, the team has a quarterback.
Mr. Fowler right here. Fowler, you doing okay?
He's a mastermind with a playbook. Men's Club president, Matt Zarang. What's your play of the day?
Well, the play of the day is to have all of our core guys come out throughout the week to do the work that needs to be done for the big day on Friday. That's the big win for us.
All right, play ball or fry fish.
Fry fish. We got trays. We got about 1,000 of these.
In their clubhouse, they paid for it themselves. In the hours before the big meal, Matt begins to call the men to order.
These 50-pound bags, we got 300 pounds of potatoes.
Organizing and orchestrating and taking stock of the stock room.
I think we're looking good on this one.
For the church's Friday fish fries during Lent.
Out the freezer. Here you go, Dave.
Their menu has a history going back to 1999. A team of about 20 guys, all volunteers in their field, keeps the sacred tradition cooking. That's why they're here, deep in deep fried heaven.
We have to make this the best community we can.
We love to give back.
It brings everybody in.
That's what Jesus calls me to do.
Mr. Joe, everything's good? Yeah.
We make sure you feel like you've eaten when you come here.
And has a good Friday night in Lent.
Thank y'all very much for coming. We appreciate it.
With the money they make, they fix things up around the church or help out the school next door.
With every bite, you're helping us support the mission of St. Benilde Church and School and helping out the parish in any way we can.
Knowing that, could you supersize my fries?
That's $4.
At the church that took the name of the man even before he was named a saint.
Hungry people inside.
They've got the faith to serve as St. Benilde did.
How's everything going, y'all? Thank you for coming.
Doing ordinary things in extraordinary ways.
Woo, look at that, y'all. Y'all are doing a good job this year.
Like the way they fry fish on Fridays.
Keep up the good work, guys. I'm proud of you.
Bill Wood, WGNO News.
The only problem I have with Bill's story is because a lot of times they are food and very well done. Every single time it makes me hungry. Apologies if you are one of them. I hope you can get yourself a snack while we take a very quick break. See, that wasn't that bad, right? Little break. Hope you got yourself that snack. And you would want it because this next story is about flying, but they're not going to provide you a snack. I made that one up on the fly. I hope it worked for you. I talked about at the top of the show, air taxis. So these are taking aircraft from like one location here and then going like 10 to 50 miles over there. They're really trying to roll them out in Salt Lake. And so here's our story from a story from our station in Salt Lake City, Utah, KTVX.
Her name is Aaliyah, and she could just be the future of air travel. For now, she's designed to just fly people from airport to airport. But by the time the Olympics return, she could be used to fly people from ski resort to help alleviate all the additional traffic. Before takeoff,
And I want to introduce you to Aaliyah. And I want to thank Beta for bringing her here. Isn't she beautiful?
dozens of people filled a hangar to get a first look at the future of flying.
My favorite thing about it is that it is quiet. So when you're flying in it, it's very quiet, and you could, if you wanted to, take your headset off, have a conversation with a pilot, which is very abnormal for most aircraft of this size.
Utah State University graduate Emma Davis is a test flight engineer for Beta Technologies.
It's all electric aircraft. It's a very simple design, which leads to a higher reliability, lower cost aircraft. That's really optimized for regional missions. So we're talking, Salt Lake City to Vernal, Ogden to Logan, stuff that is kind of connecting the Wasatch Front. It's not always fun to drive across the mountain range. It takes some time.
Aaliyah may soon taxi people across the state, but for now,
we're kind of slowly ramping up production for our conventional takeoff and landing. So all that means is landing at runways and taking off from runways. We're ramping up to have 300 aircraft off the production line per year. And then we're also, at the same time, we're designing, developing, and testing a vertical variant. So one that would take off vertically, more like a helicopter. You'd fly like a plane and then have a vertical landing.
We are very receptive to new technologies.
Carlos Braceras says UDOT is all in on the idea.
We're going to start to see this technology accelerate. Once the FAA certifies this aircraft, we're going to start to see it just become part of, our normal transportation options. So people can go where they want, when they want, how they want, and do so safely.
To accelerate Aaliyah's integration into everyday life,
this year we did $2 million to go through and put charging stations
at our major regional airports. There are about 41 of those around the state.
Senator Wayne Harper says the legislature also approved an additional $650,000.
Users can come to UDOT and say, we need this in order to facilitate how we're going to operate.
He says he hopes to see air taxis in use in the state within a year.
To improve the lifestyles of Utah and also to decrease congestions on our roadways.
And fully integrated in time for the Olympics.
People are going to be able to get to their venues using technology such as this. It's going to showcase Utah.
ALIA is going to be on display at airports across the state throughout the week. Reporting from Salt Lake City, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
We've been talking about self-driving cars, flying cars. That's pretty close to flying cars, right? Air taxis. Self-driving cars are kind of on the way. Those Waymos that have been around and growing. I want that flying car. It's going to happen. I believe Jetsons. I believe it'll happen. Not by the time I roll this next story, though. Speaking of, let's go to it, shall we? This next one coming to us from our station WGN in Chicago, Illinois. It is, we meet a man who helped to discover a new dino species. We see some of the bones that he uncovered, and then we learn about a display where you can come and learn about this astounding species.
You know how old this is? A little older than me. It's 95 million years old.
Dr. Paul Serino and his team from the University of Chicago made a discovery of epic proportions.
It's been a century since anybody has found skull bones of this, and now it's a new species, and we have the most of anybody has ever found of a skull. That's sort of an aha moment for a paleontologist that you'll never forget the rest of your life.
And that monumental discovery was unveiled and displayed for the first time ever in Chicago.
We were so astonished when we found it. It was jaw-dropping that we decided to call it the astonishing Spinosaur, Spinosaur mirabilis.
A replica of the unique unicorn-shaped head went on display not at a natural history museum, but at the Chicago Children's Museum.
So think about the long term. It's going to be because of the next generation and the generation of that of kids that become scientists that help us through what we're doing to the earth and what we're doing to our environment.
Vice President of Marketing for the museum, Noah Cruikshank, said it's an honor to welcome the new addition.
So that Chicago's children and families can be the first people to see this never-before-seen dinosaur.
In addition to the dinosaur expedition that Dr. Serino helped create years earlier.
We were, again, so lucky to work with Dr. Serino and his colleagues to create this incredible exhibit that you see right here, where kids are able to dig up Suchomimus.
And now bring it to the Children's Museum is sort of full circle. You bring it to the next generation.
The Spinosaurus mirabilis will be on display at the Chicago Children's Museum until September. At Navy Pier, Shannon Halligan, WGN News.
Kind of hard to get past the whole unicorn thing once you see it. Once they say it. And then it's like, oh yeah, I wonder how far back unicorn myth goes. I don't know. That's what popped in my head anyway. I've got to take one more quick break, but I've got two more stories for you on the other side, both related to wild animals that were in trouble, helped, and sent home. Cool video for both. I promise you. Stick around. And we are back. I do try, for those that haven't seen many episodes of this show, to get at least one animal story in. We went over the top this week, I feel like, with the CHOWCHILLA stampede, the fish fry, not quite the animal story, dino species, I feel like that counts. Well, we're going to keep it going here to end it. The first one is about an eagle rescue. I've seen eagles like in zoos. I've seen them in the wild, like way over there. I have never seen a wild eagle this close or people working to help a wild eagle this close. So just really good video coming from our station, WJET in Erie, Pennsylvania.
And it's wonderful. It's one of my favorite days of the year is to release one of these guys.
After being in recovery for several weeks, one eagle finally gets to go home.
We like to return them home because they will have family there. They know where to hunt, they know where to nest, they know where they like to perch, and so that's the right thing to do, is to return them home.
This male bald eagle got into a pretty nasty fight that left him interlocked with another male eagle. Wildlife advocates believe that it was likely over territory. While he was able to avoid broken bones from the battle, he sustained puncture wounds and needed professional care to get better.
Experts say that this eagle has made a complete and full recovery, and in just a few minutes, the spirited bird will be released back into the wild.
Prior to his release, he had one more checkup.
Checking the injury that they came in with, but we are also making sure that all of their feathers are in good condition, that their feet are in good condition, that they are a good body weight. And then when I was checking out his feet, I was also sharpening his talons.
The rehabilitators involved in his recovery say they are full of emotions during release.
I consider it to be a release for myself as well. While the animals are in care, we are in control of every aspect of their life. It is a weight off my shoulders whenever they go out.
Tamarack's executive director says that she feels a spiritual connection to each eagle she interacts with and tells us that in Native American tribes, they are revered as messengers to the spirit world.
Well, I don't know what they're going to say about me, but it's certainly something that I carry in my heart, the privilege of working with them.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about that. It really was the sharpening of the talons that you got to see, the checking of the wings that made me go, I think we're going to include that one in this week's Good News edition. And then another one caught my eye. This one coming from our station in San Diego, KUSI. Similar idea here. We are seeing a true rescue and rehabilitation and release all in one go, but this one of the water variety.
Earlier this year, rescuers got a call about a sea lion in distress along the San Diego coast. Now, what they didn't know at the time was later revealed in an x-ray, a bullet lodged in the sea lion's head. Despite the shocking discovery, the animal has since recovered, and today we joined rescuers to see the heartwarming release back into the ocean.
This is the ending rescuers were hoping for. It's the moment this rescued California sea lion returns to the ocean after months of recovery from a bullet lodged in his head.
He's been in rehab with us for the last couple months. We had picked him up originally off of Liberty Station over on the coastline over there.
SeaWorld's rescue hotline received a call of a large male sea lion barely moving on the beach, lethargic and dangerously underweight. Rescuers say no one knew the bullet was there when the animal was first rescued.
He was very weak, very skinny, very lethargic, and we weren't exactly sure what was going on with him. So we brought him back, did some diagnostics.
But during a full diagnostic exam, something unexpected appeared on an x-ray of the animal's skull. A bullet lodged inside its head. And cases like these aren't unheard of.
Veterinary team decided that it would have caused more harm to remove that than it would to just leave it in, so we didn't even have to treat that issue at all.
Federal data shows nearly 700 California sea lions were found with gunshot or stab wounds between 1998 and 2017 along the U.S. West Coast, often linked to conflicts where both humans and sea lions are competing for the same fish.
Because people are trying to go after the fish, the sea lions are going for the same fish, and they want to scare them off or they want to get them out of the way.
And after weeks of rehabilitation, gaining weight and strength, the sea lion was finally ready to return home.
So today he's being returned to an area that we know there's a food source and we know there's other species like him. So other sea lions are around because they're very social animals.
And just like that, rescuers say most of the animals they release don't look back, embracing a second chance in the wild.
He's going to make his way back to shoreline, find a group of sea lions, and he'll be out there making little baby sea lions sometime in the next year or two.
And rescue teams say they continue to report incidents like this to federal wildlife officials to monitor the interactions between humans and sea life. Now, if you ever see a marine animal in distress, you are urged to call 1-800-541-SEAL. For now, this sea lion is doing great and is back and ready to hunt again off the San Diego coast. Reporting in SeaWorld, I'm Wiley Jawhary.
Worth it, right? I know there was some not as good news stuff in there, but it was educational and ended with a good ending. And that's really what mattered to me the most anyway. Hey, we're going to end with a good ending as well. And a thank you for you watching this show wherever you're watching it and keeping it going. That's what I'm here for, and I'm gonna do it. Gosh darn it, it's just, I got too much fun with this. Hope to see you guys on a future episode of Across America Good News Edition.